In this section, we are going to talk about record keeping. And any farmer who wants to successfully run a dairy farming enterprise should consider keeping accurate records, because records are the basis of any decision making at the farm level. Now we're asking ourselves, why should a farmer keep records? And why and how should the farmer keep the records at the farm? Records are kept at the farm for very basic reasons: to help the farmer make decisions on how to best manage the farm, and also inform the farmer whether they are making a loss or whether they are making profits from their farming enterprise. It is important to note that the process of record keeping starts from the time a farmer decides to set up a dairy farming enterprise, and it's a continuous process through the operations of the farm and on a daily basis. The farmer should also know that the records can be useful when they want to make major decisions on the farm. And this will include when they want to sell the animals, and if they want to bring in new animals to the farm, the records will help them know what they are bringing up and what they are raising at the farm. Next, we talk about the types of records to be kept at the farm. We'll go into deeper details on each of the types of records that a farmer should keep at the farm. But a quick overview of the records that are required that a farmer should keep are records on feeding. A farmer should keep records about the feeds that have been allocated to the farm and the animals and their consumption. The farmer should also keep breeding records. These are records that relate to the genetics and the sires that have been used at the farm and to breed the animals. They include the AI and inseminations that were given to the animals or were served to the animals. It also includes other details like the dates of calving and other records related to the parents and the pedigree of the animals. We also have records about the finances. A farmer should also keep records relating to the financials and how the farmer is managing the farm. What cost went to feeds and what cost went to breeding and managing the whole farm. It is important that we have records on how the finances of the farm are run. It's also important that the farmer keeps records on identification. Animals at the farm should also be properly identified, and the farmer should keep a record on all the animals and the identity. And this helps in referring to the animals whenever there's information that is required. The farmer is able to make informed decisions based on the records that are available at the farm. We also have production records. Any successful farmer should keep track of the production of the animals, and the farmers are advised to keep individual production of every cow. A farmer can decide to keep production on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, but it is important that the farmer keeps track on the production of every cow so that they're able to determine how best to manage that particular cow. Again, there are records that need to be submitted for official use at the farm, and the farmer will always be advised on which records are required for other institutions that will require the information to help them manage the enterprise better. Farmers need to know that we have a number of records that can help them properly organize and manage their enterprise. And these records can be availed to them through the extension officers and those who work with them closely at the farm level. And such records will be records on breeding to help them organize the information on on a breeding record card that will enable them make proper decisions at the end of the day. We also have records on health. It is important that the farmer keeps records on vaccinations, deworming, and any other treatments that happen on a daily basis at the farm. This will help the farmer and any other person who wants information about the animal to know how best to raise that animal and also manage that animal in a more healthy manner. Now let's get deeper into record keeping. And now we are looking at the types of records kept. And when you look at the breeding records, we have said that breeding records entail the records on the breed and the generation of that animal and the information about the breed itself at the farm level. And an example of information that will be available for a farmer to record will be on the breed, the identification, the sex of the animal, when the animal was born, the sire and the dam. So it is also important to note that the farmer should also record and keep the information on the genetics of the sires that have been used to serve the animals. And these are normally the certificates that are issued by the artificial insemination officers, which indicate when the animal was served, the dates of expected calving, and the genetics that were used, or the bull that was used to serve the cow. These records are important because they will help the farmer plan for their herd and also know which type of genetics have been used on the farm and their potential in order for them to make proper and informed decisions during their next breeding cycle of the animals. We also have production records, which are also very important that the farmer keeps track of, and these records will capture information of the identification of the animals, records on the milk production per cow, and on which dates. At the end of the day, the farmer should be able to know the estimated production or the actual production of the animals over the whole lactation. And this will also help the farmer make informed decisions about what they're investing in terms of the resources and the feeds against what the animals are producing. It also helps in planning for the animals when you are looking for feeds and when you are determining which animals need to be properly fed during a particular season. Feeding records. Feeding records also help the farmer know which quantities are supposed to be given out to the animals. For instance, a lactating cow should be able to receive to get a certain proportion of protein, which is part of the feeds that are converted into milk. And as we all know, milk is actually made of protein. For a good yielding cow with an average production of between 10 to 25 liters, the animals should be fed on an average protein of about 10 to 14%. This amounts to about 4 kilograms of dairy meal, which needs to be provided together with the other feeds like fodder and other forages that a cow should feed on. Remember, a cow should be always fed on a balanced diet. Therefore, the farmer should consider feeding the animal on proper dry matter and feeds that provide carbohydrates, and also make sure that the animals is getting enough vitamins and minerals through other concentrates such as minerals and salts. We also have health records whereby farmers need to keep track of the health record of the animal over the time the animal is at the farm. And these records include vaccination, treatment, and deworming records to help better manage the animal at the farm. And again, information on when the animals were vaccinated and when the animals were dewormed is important for the farmer to prevent diseases and other prevalent diseases that affect the animal and again the health of the animal. Therefore, the farmer should be keen on keeping records on treatment and make sure that the records are properly kept against even the costs that have been involved while treating the animal. It will be very painful for a farmer to not to keep records of the animal as regards the health, the vaccinations and treatment because the farmer may be keeping a cow or an animal that is prone to a very serious disease, and that will tell you more about the immunity of the animal. Therefore, the farmer is able to make good decisions out of the records that are kept pertaining the health of the animal. Again, the farmer will be able to know where the problem is. If the farmer or the animals experience the same disease every now and then the farmer is able to make to identify where the problem is in terms of management and even where the disease has actually been sourced from. Then we also have financial records. These comprise of all records pertaining the farm on expenditure and income. When the farmer sets up the farm, they have an objective and they have a plan on the activities that are to be undertaken. Therefore, every expense that is incurred on the farm should be recorded, as well as the profits or the income that is generated out of the farming enterprise. Remember, the farming enterprise should be monitored to know whether it is profitable, and therefore records on sales of milk should be properly recorded against the cost or the amount that have been sold. The sale of stock should also be recorded to know how much money the animals have been sold for. Then we also have other running costs and any other costs that occur on a day-to-day basis. Most farmers will not keep track of such costs, and at the end of the day, the enterprise will look as the enterprise will not be that profitable or worth venturing in from the initial start. We also have other costs that are incurred on the farm, like licenses, other running costs at the farm. All these costs should be recorded and be used by the farmer to make decisions so that they can plan for their farm and their enterprise in a much more better way, with a business mind and with also a vision that the enterprise has to bring profits to the farm.